almost immediately within his confirmation, a measles outbreak develops in Texas. More than a few people could wonder how sus that is. Now, in part, it's simply highlighting and giving grand attention to a relatively minor matter. And there's measles outbreaks every year. They rarely lead to death. They're less threatening than lightning strikes at killing you. But the media knows that the American public doesn't always know that. And so part of it was they decided to take this small measles outbreak and make it a huge deal. Why? The entire goal was to derail Robert Kennedy, was to cut him off at the gate. They were unsuccessful in the presidential campaign against Trump and Kennedy. Then they were unsuccessful in the confirmation campaign against Trump and Kennedy. So their next goal was discredit him by getting him to do things that they can claim led to and facilitated a measles outbreak based on often false intel and information. So some people were expecting that as soon as he was Secretary of Health and Human Services, he would remove all vaccines from the kids list. He would stop all the COVID vaccines, and he would unwind everything that's problematic. He was not in a political position to do so. He could make certain legal declarations, but then they could be reversed by the president if the president saw so fit. So understand the territory and the land that he is navigating is lined with mines. And and it was obvious, if you understand the underlying dynamics, that they wanted Kennedy to misuse the measles problem to derail all of his other efforts on food and public health and medicine in America. That if they could blow him up over that, create a controversy and scandal over that, then they would be able to prevent all the important remedies and relief he is structuring and creating by putting institutions in power in place that he can actually radically reform and restructure food and medicine in America. Kennedy, it wasn't dumb enough to take the bait. A lot of other people would have. A lot of other people would have rushed in, said, let's cancel the COVID vaccine now. Let's cancel all the kids' vaccines now. Let's attack all vaccines willy-nilly now. Let's let the measles outbreak develop and try to challenge the media narrative on what is causing the media outbreak and how much of a fear-mongering it is. If he had fallen into that trap, then it would derail his entire effort at HHS, and we may have never got any reforms or remedies long-term. The measles vaccine is the least problematic vaccine on the list. I get people are concerned with MMR vaccine given at certain times. Notice he didn't reference the MMR vaccine, measles, mumps, and rubella. He referenced the measles vaccine as a separate vaccine, by the way. In fact, that one of the ways people have dealt with the risk of vaccine injury has been to stagger out when certain vaccines are received so that there's less risk of that occurring for their children. The measles vaccine itself, there's some, I think, that's been greatly exaggerated how much it's helped the population, and Robert Kennedy has previously made those points. But taking the bait on challenging the measles vaccine in the middle of a media-hyped measles outbreak would have only been politically disastrous for Kennedy at this point. There was no reason to... you don't let the little issue derail you and distract you from the big issues. The big issues are the COVID vaccine. The big issue is the entire kids list. The big issue is that we have 73 vaccines on that list. The big issue is that the COVID vaccine isn't a real vaccine. The big issue is that injuries related to vaccines have been hidden from the American people and public for too long. Kennedy knows he needs to steadily set up the factual and empirical basis by which he can get buy-in from the court of public opinion on this. And a lot of my conservative friends don't understand that the normie out there still doesn't even understand the risks of the COVID vaccine. Okay, I deal with people all the time and friends and family who think the COVID vaccine is absolutely safe and absolutely effective and think everything questioning it is a bunch of hoopla and conspiracy theories made up by kooks. Okay, that's the world that Kennedy inhabits. That's the world he inherits. He's got a big uphill battle ahead of him at getting people to recognize the risks of vaccines. So he needs to put things in place, the scientific and medical teams, create institutions institutionalize things like he's already doing to establish vaccine injuries, the source of vaccine injuries, the cause of vaccine injuries, potential additional remedies for vaccine injuries. He's creating the empirical basis using HHS to radically reform and restructure food and medicine in this country. He's not going to derail that by taking the trap of getting into the measles vaccine debate right off the top. That would be foolish. That would be counterproductive. Kennedy understands this better than anybody. So anybody that's out there spinning nonsense about, oh, he must be getting blackmailed or he's never believed it, neither understands Kennedy nor the obstacles he is dealing with. He's on the right path and the path that's right for America. Don't be overly judgmental over traps set by the press and his unwillingness to step into those traps.